was always something of a dark cloud looming over Quantum of Solace. Bad enough it had to deal with the high expectations set by Casino Royale, but the development stage of this film coincided with the wholly ineffectual Writers Guild strike, which resulted in a script that desperately attempted to keep the momentum of its predecessor. By no means should Quantum of Solace be written off. In fact, one of the best things about it was that it was the first Bond film to actually carry the development over from Casino Royale, effectively making this one of the few Bond movies that actually operates as a sequel. And like a good sequel, it actually closes the book on a lot of plot threads left open at the end of the last film, such as the organization behind Le Chiffre. Who are they? How far does their reach go? This film answers it. Is Bond truly over Vesper's death? Is this mission all about revenge for Bond? Is his perception askew? This movie actually delves into those questions. Credit is also due to the film's efforts to reevaluate the role of the Bond girl in the grand scheme. The character of Camille actually serves the story more than any other Bond girl. She's like Bond in a lot of ways. She's also out for revenge, she refuses to let anyone else in, and she finds solace in Bond as a kindred spirit, as both of them are going to extreme lengths for closure. The film very wisely never cheapens this relationship with a trivial roll in the hay. Instead, she helps Bond see that revenge is a hollow endeavor. There may be closure, but afterwards you're left wanting. By the end of the film, Bond has finally put his grief to rest and is finally able to carry on. While these are fascinating explorations of Bond's character, it does get somewhat hampered by wonky pacing and aloof plotting. While it's interesting that the organization Quantum is engineering a massive con job to gain power over a would-be dictator, you just never feel that there's any sort of intrigue about it. Sure, the scheme is clever, and the twist that it's about water as opposed to oil makes for a very topical story element, but even when you see how Quantum's machinations are affecting the population, you still aren't feeling the imperative drive that a situation like this should boast. One could probably attribute this to the lack of time that was paid to developing the story. If more time had been dedicated to it, perhaps a lot of the rough edges could have been ironed out, and we could have had a tighter storyline. The crisis of the drought that Quantum was causing could have felt more gargantuan. Dominic Green could have been better defined as a villain. Maybe we could have developed more empathy for Camille, her pain, and how it parallels Bond's. Now, all this said, this movie was being made during a time when, frankly, we were lucky we got this level of storytelling. If there's anything we can pin on the director Mark Forster, was that his perception that the Bourne movies should be the new standard of how action movies are filmed, maybe they were a bit askew. I get how shaky cam is used to add a level of realism to a fight scene and how Paul Greengrass has proved this on more than one occasion. Unfortunately, we've had many other filmmakers trying to ape that style, and to be honest, it looks like Michael J. Fox is directing found footage. Many of the action sequences veer dangerously into incomprehensibility. Now, it's true that with Craig's Bond we were going for a hard-edged tone, but if Casino Royale was able to deliver that idea without resorting to gimmicky camera tricks, why should this one? So, is Quantum of Solace the disaster people make it out to be? Definitely not. It's just not the follow-up to Casino Royale that we were gunning for. Normally I'd say judge it on its own merit, and, well, I will with later movies, but because this one is actually meant to be a sequel, that's kinda difficult.